Hi everyone,
and welcome to another episode of ITT Podcast, which stands for In This Together Podcast. And welcome to another episode take on relationships, love, and marriage, which stands for the aim of sharing our views and experiences. Our podcast is our honest take on relationships,
so whether
love,
you're single,
and marriage,
dating, in a relationship, or happily married, there's something in it for you.
Take from it whatever you need.
So whether you're single, dating,
Hi,
in
everyone.
a relationship, or happily married,
we're back.
there is something in it for you.
So yeah, we need to talk about the elephant in the room before we even start.
Hi everyone.
We've been gone a long time.
We're back.
We didn't actually say we were going to be gone. So
we have to stop
we need
doing.
to talk about the elephant in the room
We have
before
to
we
stop
even
doing.
start. We've been gone a long time. We didn't actually say we were going to be gone.
So a quick explanation
before we get going with today's episode.
We have to stop doing.
We intended to record
but
over
we
the
are
summer
parents,
holidays, but
Yeah.
that did not
So a quick
happen.
explanation before we
the
get
summer
going
holidays
with
just
today's
had us
episode.
going up and
We
down.
intended
summer
to
camp,
record over the
work,
summer holidays, but
dealing
that
with the
did
kids,
not happen.
all of that.
So,
And then
the
the
summer
kids went back
holidays
to
just had
school
us
early
going up
September,
and down, and we've just been
summer
settling in,
camp,
really.
work,
We said last time that you've
dealing
got a
with
new
the
job,
kids, all
so
of that.
there was all of that
And
kind
then
of
the kids went back
change
to
as well.
school
Frank's
early
settling into his
September,
new
and
job.
we've just been settling in, really.
And we
Our
said last
son
time
is
that
gonna
you've got a
be
new
studying
job
for the 11
so there
plus,
was all of that
so
kind of change as well. Frank's
Yeah,
settling
he's not
into
getting
his new
tutored, so
job.
We've had to put something together, like a plan for him, and that's taken a lot of time to do.
It's gonna work.
Yeah, he's not getting tutored, so but
What
we've
can
had
we
to
say?
put something together, like a
I'm
plan
sure you
for
guys
him, and that's taken a
understand
lot
that
of
if you're a
time
parent,
to do.
you know the
Yeah,
time.
so
yeah, sorry,
but we're gonna have
what
to
can we
make
say?
a conscious
Yeah.
effort
Say,
to just
not,
you guys
yes,
understand
not to do that. And if
that
we're
if
gonna
you're
do that
parent,
again,
you
we'll,
know,
Yeah.
we'll let you guys
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
But
we're
gonna have to make a conscious
we need to
effort
be
to
more
just-
Not
on our
yes,
social
not to
media
do that.
for
And if
sure.
we're gonna do that again,
We need to post
we'll
more
let
on
you
our
guys
social
know.
media.
Yeah.
But
I know
summer
you're always
holidays
saying
has
that
been
Frank's
manic,
gonna be like,
and we need
oh,
to be more.
am I not
on
on our
always
social
saying that.
media
I'm
for
saying that
sure?
for time.
Well, why don't
We
you
need to post more on our social media.
I know you're always saying that Frank's gonna be
I
like,
don't know how
oh,
it works.
you
Am I
do
not
know
always
how
saying
it
that?
I've been saying that for time.
Well, why don't you
Anyway,
anyway?
let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Okay,
I'm
so
not a social
in
media
today's
person. I
episode,
don't know how it
we
works.
will be discussing the double standards that persist between men and women.
Anyway, let's get to it. Let's get
And
to
the
it.
effects that they
in
have
today's
on
episode,
relationships.
we will be
and
discussing the
marriages.
double
standards
Yeah,
that
yeah.
persist
It's gonna
between
be a
men
good
and
one.
women. I hope so, because I feel
And
like
the
double
effects that
standards
they
is one
have
of those
on
one where
relationships
we've been talking
and
about it in a
marriages.
roundabout way.
Yeah,
other
it's gonna be a
episodes.
good one.
In a way, I hope so,
true.
because I
It's
feel
true.
like double
But
standards
in
is
this
one of those
episode,
one
we're
where
actually gonna
we've been talking
devour
about it in a roundabout way.
Yeah.
I don't think
That's
we did
true.
it that
In a way.
That's true.
We're gonna
It's true.
analyze.
We're gonna
But
analyze.
in this episode, we're actually
But
gonna
how?
devour
Really?
it.
So I'm just thinking about Suya.
I don't think
Oh,
we did it that way.
anyways,
We're
don't
gonna
mind me.
analyze. I actually can't. Okay, so
But how?
this topic we wanted to talk
Yeah, I'm
about
just thinking
it,
about
even though
Suya.
we've kind of touched on it in
Anyways,
other ways, but we
anyways,
wanted
don't
to talk
mind
about
me.
it specifically.
I actually can't. Okay, so
because
this
double
topic
standards can
we
have
wanted to
a
talk about it,
significant
even
impact
though
on
we've
relationships
kind of
and
touched on
marriages
it in
and I
other
think
ways, but we wanted
sometimes
to talk
people
about it
aren't
specifically
really aware of it,
because
and double standards can
some
have
of the times
a
we don't even seem
significant
to
impact on
acknowledge
relationships and marriages,
these
and I
double
think
standards
sometimes
exist. So some of
people
these
aren't
things
really
we
aware
just
of
don't
it,
really
and
acknowledge them,
some
but they
some of the
actually play
times
a
we
big
don't even
role.
seem to acknowledge
So
that we want to
these
unpack
double
some of
standards
these and
exist.
talk about
So some
ways
of
that
these
you can
things
make sure
we
they
just
don't
don't really
negatively
acknowledge them,
impact
but
your
they
relationship
actually play a
or
big
like
role.
hinder
So
success.
we want to unpack some of these
and talk about ways that you can make sure they don't negatively
when we say
impact
double
your
standards,
relationship.
what are we
or
referring
like
to,
hinder
friends?
success.
This sounds like a
Yeah.
lesson.
So let's go. Okay,
Right,
well,
so
when I say
definitions,
double standards, what do you
when we
think?
say
And
double
then I
standards,
can
what
tell you
are
what I
we
think.
referring to, Frank?
So double
This
standard,
sounds like
my
a
understanding of
lesson.
double standard is
Okay,
to
well,
put it plain and
when I
simple,
say double
one
standards,
rule
what
for
do you
me
think?
and
And
a
then I
different rule for
can
you.
tell you what I think.
That's the easiest
So
way I
double
can
standard,
explain
my
it.
understanding
And
of
whether
double
that's like
standard is,
men
To put
and
it plain
women,
and simple,
or
one rule
like
for
one
me
rule for the
and a
woman,
different
another
rule
rule
for
for
you.
the man, or one
That's
rule
the
for the
easiest
man,
way I
another
can
rule for
explain
the
it.
women. And whether
Yeah.
that's like
Yeah,
men,
it's like
and
a
women,
that's
or
what double standard.
like
Yeah.
one rule for the woman, another rule for
official
the man,
definition
or one rule
is
for the man,
a
another
set
rule
of
for the women.
expectations or rules
Yeah, it's
that
like
are
applied differently to
double
different
standard.
individuals.
Yeah.
I mean,
Agree.
the official definition
essentially,
is
it's a set
the
of
rules
expectations
apply in
or
one
rules
situation,
that are
but they don't
applied
apply in another
differently to different
situation to another
individuals
set
or
of
group.
people or
So
individual.
essentially, it's
So
the
there's
rules
quite
apply
a few
in
things,
one situation,
I think,
but they
double
don't apply in
standard
another
wise that we
situation.
could
Yeah.
touch
Another
on.
set
And
of
it's a really
people or
broad
individual.
topic. But
Yeah.
so
we kind of
there's
just
quite a few
put
things
together the ones that
I
we
think
felt
double
were-
standard wise that we
were-
could touch on. And it's a really broad topic.
So
Well,
we kind of just we're just together the ones that we felt talk about them as we see them, right? So the most common double standards in our opinion that we're just going to list them off and we'll talk about them as we see them. Number one, body count. So the most common double standards in our opinion,
I don't like the word body count.
that. But body count is one of those things where I think
number one, body count
standards for men. I hate the word body count. So when you say body count, it's how many. Body count is one of those things where I think
women has had
different standards for men than they are to women. So when you say body count, it's how many sexual partners
women has had, or
how many bodies you've collected.
Body count thing to
from
me.
where? No, you know what
sexual. Like you talk about like okay, like you can ask me so how many girls have I slept with? And that's what I mean by body count.
No, you know what sexual.
Like you talk about like okay, like you can ask me so how many girls have I slept with?
No, stop trying to act like you're an old man. You're not. You know what it means. Yes, how many sexual partners has the woman had? How many sexual partners has the man had? No, stop trying to act like you're an old man. You're not. You know what it means. But yes, how many sexual partners has the woman had? How many sexual partners has the man had? Even like having babies outside of wedlock standard. Children with more than one. Having babies by several men or several women. Even like having babies outside of wedlock. Children with more than one.
I believe that's worse than the body count.
Okay, we'll get to
a minute. Their father, their mothers more than their fathers.
That's a double standard as well. Like even just like the way children are raised, in a marriage.
Their father, their mothers more than their fathers.
That's a double standard. They kind of gravitate to the way children are raised in about that as well. Who do the children need more? Touch on the idea that a woman that's got like the high standards point about that tells a man what she will accept is seen as kind of strong. Idea that a woman that's got like high standards, so I don't know, I feel like there's something there around women being very kind of direct, strong, forthcoming, and about how they feel, what they will. So I don't know, I feel like there's something there around sometimes women I feel like being very kind of direct, perceived, forthcoming, about how they feel, what they will touch on that, things like that. Also, like the desire for traditional women without being traditional men, I think is double standard.
I think it is. I think we can touch on that.
Also, like the desire for traditional women without being traditional men, I think it's double standard.
They're not ready to play traditional. There's a lot of men that are like expecting a woman,
I feel like that's something we've touched on already, we've spoken about. There's also things like emotional expectations, and we've touched on that. Society, women are expected to be more emotionally available. We've spoken about being more stoic and strong. That's like emotional expectations as well. But how does that really impact the relationship to be more emotionally available? Because at the moment, it's like women feel more comfortable sharing their feelings. Kind of touched on as well. But how does that also really financial expectations on men versus women? Because at the moment it's like women feel more comfortable sharing their feelings than men.
Good.
So and also financial expectations on men versus women.
Let's breeze through it. Let's jump into it.
We're a little bit rusty, so you've got to bear with us. Because dang, this is why you need to record every week. Let's just jump into it.
Basically, she says my fault.
We're a little bit rusty, so you've got to bear with us. Dang, this is why you need to record every week. Gosh, that word. Should we?
Basically, she says my fault.
Find another word for it.
No, we have to say body count. Because otherwise you're saying sexual partners every minute.
SP.
Gosh, that word. Should we?
Let's say find another word for it.
No, I know. I have to say body count. Because otherwise you're saying sexual partners every minute.
SP.
So let's talk about the double standards between men and women.
Like,
I know
we're dealing with bodies here. Like,
how do you feel about it? Like, let's just start with you.
I don't think it's so fair.
Let's talk about the double standards between men and women. You don't think it's fair?
I don't think it's fair.
How do you feel about it? Let's just start with you.
When a woman's done the same thing, or when a girl's done the same thing, is seen as,
you don't think it's fair?
I don't think it's fair that men behave a certain way saying it. When a woman's done the same thing, or when a girl's done the same thing, they're seen as she's hoes or whatever. And they're quite comfortable. You've got more body count than being in that space to be like, no, you're high body count, so she's hoish. That standard is high. That's something that you've got a lot more body count guys have seen.
You've got
your high body count. So
do you not think it's different from men than it is to women?
I'm sure a lot of men, a lot of guys have seen. I really think it's bad for both. Men they know. Like the way I see it is that if a woman has a lot of sexual partners, I think it's bad for both. I really don't want to come across as like judgmental. If a woman has a lot of sexual partners, gone through of had a lot of sexual partners, I don't want to come across as one partner judgmental, but been having fun. So you will have more sexual partners. your teens or whatever, not having one partner. It just depends. Been having fun. I think it's the same for both men and women. I will not accept a guy telling me to judge that person for a guy because guys are just guys. It depends. But I think it's the same for both men and women. I will not accept a guy telling me it's fine for a guy because guys are just guys. I think it's fair if a woman turns to a man and says, "Look, could be considered a hoe."
But women will never do that.
A woman will have the right to say,
"Women
that's
don't
a bit
do
hoish."
that.
I think it's fair if a woman turns to a man and says, "Look,
men having women will never do that."
Women ask us questions though.
Women
it seems like it's guys that
because
ask
of
us
the double
questions.
standards in society.
I don't think it matters.
Men having
to women as much as it does to men. Us questions though. I think it's a psychological thing for guys that ask us questions. Like, I don't think it matters. So how many guys have you slept with? As much as it does to men.
If you give them
I think it's a psychological thing for men. Start panicking. Like they want to know something in their head. So how many guys?
But do people even still ask people that? I don't know. I don't know if that's still a thing.
Can start panicking.
I feel like it probably is still a thing. Should people even be asking? But do people even still ask people that? I don't know. I don't know if that's still a thing.
I don't think they should.
I feel like it probably is still a thing.
Should
people even be asking? I'm like, are you pandering?
No, I don't think they should. I don't
really.
Look, let's just talk about us. Yeah, I don't think they should.
I'm getting shocked because I'm like, are you pandering?
No, you didn't ask me that question either. Look, let's just talk about us. That was not important. What was important was, did I ask you that question? How can we make our relationship work? You didn't ask me that question either. You're not seeing anyone. That was not important. What was important was you and I. How can we make our relationship work? That was the key thing. You're not seeing anyone.
Yeah, but go on,
my girlfriend.
I get it.
It's that person that you're with that you're focusing on. It's not about you're not my girlfriend, so let me make further inquiries. I'm the people you said. That person that you're with that you're focusing on. It's not about you're not my girlfriend, so let me make further inquiries.
Like how many people you slept with.
Yeah, but I do feel like
wasn't really the thing. But we did speak about our experiences from that way. We didn't ask each other outright, like how many people we spoke a bit about. That wasn't really the thing, but we did speak about our experiences from the past, relationships.
That conversation came about because we were trying to understand
previous girlfriends. So we could gauge from that conversation.
But that conversation came about because we were trying to understand. This person be crazy previous relationship, get to know each other and understand where we kind of been, like our journey, like
yeah, it wasn't like that.
No, has this person been crazy in previous relationship?
I don't know. I don't know. For me, double standard on sexual partners is one that I'm like.
I think for me,
I don't know.
I do not like it.
I don't. I think I agree
double
with you.
Standard.
I feel like sexual partners just is one that I'm like, picky about who he sleeps with as a woman. I think I agree with you. I feel like a man should be just as I'm dating you and then there's picky about who he sleeps with as a woman because in the process of dating you or they feel like you should be bringing me drama. I'm dating around, so I don't like that. I feel like what you're saying is right. In the process of dating you or they feel like men and women be picky about who you sleep with and around. So I don't like that yourself. I feel like what you're saying is right. It should be the same for both men and women. Be picky about who you sleep with and respect yourself.
That's what we're saying. I get that. But when we're talking about, I don't think it's as important as some people make it out to be. Meeting that person, right?
I mean, it would be
that's
terrible.
what we're saying.
Yeah.
So I know, like, step
I don't think it's as important as some people make it out to be.
For me, it's not about women should be chased and kind of keep themselves, virgins and that's not what it's about for me. For me, it's not about women should be chased and kind of keep themselves, virgins with so many sexual partners. That's not what it's about for me. For me, I'm start a serious relationship and it's like men and women, other people like with so many sexual partners. I'm not saying it as clearly as I'm start a serious relationship and it's like so many other people. Like, what have you been doing out in the streets? Like, what kind of person have you been? Have you been? I think it's more about breaking girls' hearts, leading them along. What have you been doing out in the streets? Have you been kind of person? Have you been serious relationships? But you just breaking girls' hearts, leading them along, or are you just someone who's got a little black book and you're ticking off girls like serious relationships? So it really depends, and I think it's the same thing with women. It's like, are you just someone the kind of woman that's got a little black book and you're ticking off girls like where you? Do you know what I mean? So it really depends, and I think it's the same thing with women. In which case, like, if I was a man, are you the kind of woman that caused concern? Maybe there was a time where I don't want to take my new girlfriend somewhere, and it's like, in which case, if I was a man, that half the people have slept with her. So it's not really about I don't want to take my new girlfriend somewhere. It's more about
we go to a party and feel like, okay, and half the person I'm with is quite a stand-up, sensible person. I don't want to necessarily. It's more about,
let's be real, he's
me
about
wanting
being
to
slutty.
feel like, okay, the person I'm with is quite a stand-up, sensible person. I don't want to necessarily.
But it is. But let's be real, he's about being slutty.
How is it not? How is it not?
I would say it doesn't matter. No, let's be real. You've got to look at it like, because you shouldn't really care. Because if you meet someone, let's say they've had a very interesting past, colourful, I would say it doesn't matter. But I think you've got to look at it like, you get an idea. You shouldn't really care, because if you meet someone, let's say they've had a very interesting past, so how many guys, why many girls if you slept with, you will get that, you get an idea of who you're dealing with, of the way that person is. That will prompt you to ask the question. So how many guys, if the person is just not like that, then you will not, that will prompt you because of the way that person is. So when I say that it's a slutty thing, I'm talking about both men and women.
And also it really depends on the stage in your life you've been in, because imagine if you're a lot older as well. If you're 30-something and you're meeting a girl now. And also it depends on the stage in your life you've been in, because imagine if you're a lot older as well. If you're 30-something and you're meeting a girl now, it really does depend. But I think the double standard is that sometimes people do act like women can.
That's a really good point.
Women really should have like. But I think the double standard is that they can count on one hand, whereas men, women have an unlimited amount of really should have partners, and I think that's an issue. Partners on one that they can count on one hand, whereas men can have an unlimited amount of sexual partners, and I think that's an issue. If you're someone that doesn't have a lot of sexual partners and you hold yourself to a certain standard and there's certain things you will not partake in, if you are someone that doesn't have a lot of sexual partners with the same outlook to a certain standard and about the fact that it can actually show you what kind of person you're dealing with if you guys are matched with the same outlook. So I think it's more about, I don't think it's a question that people should be asking people in relationships like that. I think you should be trying to find out the kind of person you're dealing with, their past relationships. But I don't think it's a question that people should be asking people in relationships how many men, how many women, trying to find out the kind of person you're dealing with, their past relationships. But the whole number thing, like how many men, how many women. But I know that on social media there was this conversation about body count and men feeling like, they need their girlfriend to have like really low body count. But I know that on social media there was this conversation about body count and men feeling like, if you can't hold yourself to that same have like really low body count, they haven't slept with a lot. It's ridiculous to expect someone like that to be with you. If you can't hold yourself to that same standard, it's just, I think it's ridiculous to expect someone like that. It's relative to the type of person you are,
especially if you're around the same age
that you have and what you want.
But what do you think they've been doing all those years?
But there is definitely a double standard. It's relative to the type of person that, in my opinion, the standards that you have and what you mature about the partner. But I feel like there is definitely a double standard. We danced around the topic, something that, in my opinion, don't care, the next minute you care because you think it's like.
No,
I feel like what was that about? We danced around the topic because 1 minute you don't care, the next minute you care because you think it's like.
And I met a girl, I'm not going to be concerned about her body count. My concern is, if this girl was a young man, future wife, and I met a girl, that would be my main concern. I'm not going to be concerned about her body count. My concern is, can this girl become a future wife?
I challenge that and say, but what if, you're talking more about her being with you now, but what if you then find out that she is someone that's literally was doing the most, you're talking more about her being with you now, but what if you then find out about her body count, because it does, because if you find out that she was doing the most before you would have an issue with it. But that's what I say, so how can you say it doesn't matter about her body count, because it does, because if you find out that she was doing the most before you would have an issue with it.
Because it brings it to question, if you're a woman and you find out that this person that she is, so that's going to apply to every woman in this college that is in that state. The same thing would be if you're a woman and you find out that this guy is the same thing.
It's true. I think I get what you're saying. I think what you're saying is it doesn't really matter to you because you're trying to find out who you're dealing with now, who she is. I think I get what you're saying. I think what you're saying is by asking it doesn't really matter to you because you're trying to find out who social media talks about it like she is. She needs to have a low body count. So you're not going to be trying to find out if you find out that question in that way, the way social media talks about it, like she
needs to have a low body count. It doesn't matter to you. But if you find out you want to have, or the kind of girlfriend you want to be involved with, questionable, then it will be more about the type of person you would want, causing the type of wife you want to have, or the kind of girlfriend you want to be involved with. Then it will be more about the type of person she is, causing to question the type of person she is. And I think I agree, because for me, I feel the same way. I never wanted to be with someone that was, running up and down with different women. But I do think there is a double standard. Because for me, I feel the same way. I never wanted to be with someone that was men running up and down with different women. But I do think there is a double standard they let into their I don't think it's justified. I feel like both men and women need to hold themselves to a higher standard. Let's move on to having babies by several men versus several women.
Yeah, which I think is a
so we got that one out of the way. Let's move on to having babies by several men versus several women.
Which I think is way more around this than controversy.
Okay, so how do you feel about that? What
these men out here having 10, 12 baby mothers around this? I really see women.
Okay, so how do you feel about it? What is these men? But it's not just because men can. It's because a woman might have like 3-4 baby fathers. But a man could technically have like 10 women. But it's not just because men can. It's because a woman might have like 3-4 baby fathers. Yeah, man could technically have like 10 women.
Guys can have 4, 5, 6, 7. It's kind of like, well, he's one baby father.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah, people start saying, yeah,
that's worse. The guys can have 4, 5, 6, 7. Then it's kind of like, well,
okay, so you think it seems okay for men to have several baby mothers, but if a woman has more than one baby dad, it's an issue.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think it seems okay for men to have several baby mothers, having lots of women has more than one baby dad, it's an issue. Children with lots of different women in households that you can't be. I actually think it's more of an issue than it is having lots of different baby fathers, because children with lots of different women raised households they tend to be raised all in one place. Then it is so a woman actually having different baby fathers because she's still a male figure to raising those children. They tend to be raised whereas when you're baby daddy to different women, there's so many different households that you're just not present for all those children. Right. So I find that when you're a baby daddy, I don't think it's good for women to have loads of different baby fathers, households that you're just not present blames the woman. So I find that double standard get a lot more because I think I don't think it's good for women to have loads of different baby fathers. But I don't know, maybe because it's that stereotype again of women and women get a lot more flack for it, which I'm like, oh, she's having all these babies, but I don't know, maybe because it's that stereotype again of that's fair, because I feel like imagine if you are married 2-3 times, babies, but I don't have kids. That's fair, to be honest. I don't think that's fair, because I feel like imagine if you are married 2-3 times, you may actually have kids. Whereas a man, 2-3 how did you end up with 6 baby mothers? You didn't marry 6 times. Have them from the day. So there's a recklessness there. But I'm not just trying to blame men, but I'm saying I find how did you end up with 6 baby mothers? You didn't marry 6 times. Society seems to put more emphasis on the woman, and it's just that. I'm not just trying to blame men, but I'm saying I find that energy of placing a lot of blame on women. Society seems to put more emphasis on the woman, and it's just that stereotypical the energy of placing a lot of blame on women. Yeah, because even that when you think of Nick Cannon, there are people that act like it's perfectly normal for him to have like 10-12 babies with different women. Yeah, because even that when you think of Nick Cannon, there are people that act like it's perfectly normal for him to have like 10-12 babies, but they act like women. It's okay. I mean, he doesn't have because he's got 10-12 baby mothers, and I think that's what I think he's got more. Akon was coming in talking about, but if you've got money, you can have kids, and as long as you're providing money, and I think that's where Akon was coming in talking about, if you've got money, all about the money. Kids, child, as long as you're providing money, and it's like, so it's irresponsible.
Like it's all about
people will act like it's perfectly normal to just father all these children. The child actually needs their father because the children need their father.
But the thing is
but people will act like it's perfectly normal to just father all these children. It's like it's not normal because the children need their father.
But the thing is
men like me don't act like it's normal tend to be men. I hate that kind of behavior. So men that wish they could be in that space. Who are these men like me supporting this? These are men that are saying that it's fine. So I hate that kind of behavior. So kids you're having, you have to kind of question. It's some sort of like men street cred supporting this. These are men saying that it's fine. That's on social media where definitely trashy behavior you're having. I think it's some sort of like a street cred.
That's what it is. It is trashy behavior.
Lots of different.
Yeah, because
if you can't be there, strong words.
Let's call it what it is.
Doesn't matter how much you're giving every month. If you're not there,
because
if you can't be there for your kids.
That kid is missing a lot. You think just because you can provide, doesn't matter how much you're giving every month.
We need to be a bit more realistic about what the child needs and what they're missing. And you're not. You can't be two places at once. You can't be two places at once. You can't be five places at once. Child needs and what they're missing.
On the other side, like
you're not. You can't be two places at once. You can't be three places at once. You can't be five places at once. Those children need their dad.
But on the other side, just sometimes more careful as well. He's a deadbeat. You know, he's just there trying to get some cookies. There to waste your time.
Yeah,
you know, he's gonna get the cookie out of the jar. He's gonna run. He's a deadbeat. You know, he's just there trying to get some cookies.
You know it. Like sometimes your body tells you that you're gonna get the cookie out of the jar. It's gonna run it. So why
get out? Yeah,
you know, don't. And you know it. Like sometimes your body tells you that crap.
Women
your
just need to be a bit more
careful.
tingling.
Yeah,
they pick who they
get out. Be more. Yeah, because at the same, but then at the same time, you can get married and end up in that same situation. But you're right. Like sometimes more. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to have kids. At the same time, you can get married and end up in that same situation. It doesn't mean that I'm not gonna end up divorced. Like sometimes in that situation. That's one of the reasons why I didn't want to have kids until I was married. I was like, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to end up divorced or
in that situation. But
I don't want to
less kids.
You'll be like, I was married twice. There's more. Second marriage or my third marriage or whatever. But if it's just
talking about children, this should lead to
a baby spree.
Yeah, I mean, there's this notion that children naturally need their mothers more than their fathers.
So talking about children, this should lead to.
I don't buy that.
Yeah, I mean, there's this
I don't buy that.
notion that children naturally need their mothers more than their fathers.
Every time I leave the office, I go pick up my son. The reaction I got was always
I've experienced that in the
workplace. When we first had our son.
So
every time I leave the office, I go pick up my son. The reaction I got was always like,
where's your wife?
The unexpected reaction that no, that's a woman. That's what a woman does. Like I've seen that before, which I think is absolute nonsense. That unexpected reaction that no, that's a woman. That's what a woman does.
And I know that it can really affect women growing up without your dad. It kind of instill that self-worth. We need our fathers around. Even just school you about men can really affect women. Even if you don't even have that conversation, you kind of instill that self-worth. See how they should be behaving. Even just school you about men as well, not just any man. Even if you don't even have that conversation, you see two people like see how they should be behaving. That is obviously a good man as well, not just any man. The notion that seeing all the relationships, seeing two people like gravitate to their mum. It's like they only gravitate to their mum because I feel like traditionally notion that some men are not around and traditionally women are the ones that stick around. Kids gravitate to their mum. It's like they only gravitate to their mum because she loves traditionally. Yeah, some men are not around and traditionally women are the ones that stick around. But she's a daddy's girl. In my daughter, how much she loves and knowing that you love her gives her such a boost. She loves mummy. I can see how much confidence, daddy's girl. She's happiness that instills in her, and knowing that you love her gives her such a just as important as women to children. How much confidence definitely and pride and happiness that where we act as if we don't need. So I feel like men are just as important as women to children, with their mum definitely their mum. And it's like society where we act as if we don't need the dad, but this that balance is needed, and the dad is very very mum. And it's like yes, because obviously mothers can nurture from a woman's perspective, but this that balance is needed, and the dad is very very important to children.
Definitely needed around the house.
I can only speak from a woman's perspective.
If you think about it from a well-being perspective, right?
Like a dad.
If you look at a household where it's all of the woman needed around the house, woman coping? If you think about it from one point from a well-being perspective, right? Stress. If you look at a household where it's all of the woman, going through stress, what happens with the kids? Because we all at one point, let's just put aside the whole men need to be around to like provide. She's going through stress. What happens with the kids? From a well-being perspective, let's just put aside the whole that we need to be around to like be able to provide and feel the stress from the woman. So it needs to be a balance.
Yeah.
That's the key that we need to be around balance, because we need to be able to one person kind of do the stress from the woman. So just a man, it needs to be a balance. How is he gonna cope? That's the key word. Having that balance. You can't have one without the other. That's how I see it. If you look at some people, just a man and say, "Oh well, I've grown up with my mum." all my life, and I've turned out without the other. That's how I see it.
You're right.
You probably have turned out right, but you might just be a minority. My mum. There's a lot of people that were in that position that did not turn out all right. You're right. You
and in a
probably
way,
have turned
like
out all right,
Frank is not speaking from a place of like, there's a lot of people that were in that position that did not turn out all right. Around.
And in a way, like Frank is not speaking from a place of like how important that is. I had my mum and dad. He didn't grow up with his dad for a long time before they split up. But Frank he's talking about when he's saying almost like he can how important that is. To that I grew up with my mum and dad together for a long time before they split up. But Frank didn't. Now that I'm older, it's almost like how much my dad did speak to that in my life as a young girl. I how much speak to that I just took for granted because now that I'm older, I wouldn't have had how much if I didn't have my dad around. But I didn't see my life as a young girl and how much things that I just took for granted I probably wouldn't have had if I didn't have my dad around. But I didn't see it at the time.
We need to be around. And in saying that as well, I'm tired of this whole perception that women are better. It's not just a case of nurturing kids than men. I don't think it's all women. I think there are lots of men that are whole perception that women are better at nurturing kids than men. Sometimes I don't think it's all women. I think there are lots of men that are way more capable. That level of effort. You understand? Way more. But they never. Sometimes they just don't put that to good use. They don't push.
They don't put that.
I mean, I think you're better.
You're better at nurturing the kids than me.
It's not their place.
That's the thing. The thing is,
I don't know. I
think
we both are.
Which is gibberish.
We both are. But I think you're really good
at nurturing the kids.
And you're more patient with the kids.
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, I think I'm.
I don't know. I think we both are.
I'm more patient with them.
We both are. But I think you're really good at.
I'm not messing around.
You're more patient with the kids.
Yeah, I'm just. Yeah, I think I'm. I'm more patient with them. They're not when I'm messing around, but they're not messing around. I'm not when it's bedtime. Whereas when you're dealing with them,
it's
a bit more fun. It's a bit more mess around.
When it's time to play, we play. But
when it's bedtime, it's bedtime.
And I think you deal with stress better. So you're
better. I can be with them for long periods of time and not
not getting.
And I think you deal with stress better. So you're better.
There are a lot of men that can be with them for long periods of time and not do that, but
not getting
stressed out.
They don't build that relationship.
There are a lot of men feel like in my position that their place is to provide and is to be with the boys, to be with the men,
build that relationship.
Watching football, chilling. That's all good, but their place is to provide and is to be with the boys, support your woman, your wife, whatever, chilling. That's all good, but we need to be more proactive. Are you there to support your woman, your wife? We're more proactive than like we are. It's my view. I think just we need to be more proactive.
I watched a TED talk about how important fathers were, and there was stats showing that children actually do better.
I like that view.
When they have a father talk about how even if they don't have a mother, there was stats showing that children actually do better when they have a father in the house, even if they don't have a mother.
Find it because
children don't have their father,
but have their mother.
Let me statistically, and I need to find it.
So I just gonna found it by googling around.
So it was a TED talk by Marilyn York. It was in the University of Nevada.
Okay, so I just gonna found it by googling it.
Posted on YouTube.
So it was a TED talk by Marilyn
representing men in divorce.
The University of Nevada
about 3 years
ago. And it was really interesting because she was giving
what
quite a lot of
representing men in divorce
taught me about fatherhood.
I think it was,
and it was really interesting because she was
high school dropouts and
quite a lot of statistics
of youth suicides
that
children. I think it was 71% of high school dropouts and really interesting of youth suicides. Just showing that fathers are important and children do better with their fathers around. There was a lot of stats that were really interesting. So it was interesting just showing that society are important and children do better with their fathers around. Needed and children could just be with their mothers and they'll be perfectly fine. But statistically, there's a lot society seems to go wrong when a child doesn't have their father needed, and children could just be with their mothers and they'll be perfectly fine. But statistically, I watched that quite a few years ago. But yeah, it was Marilyn York, and when a child doesn't have their father, so on the TED Talks YouTube page you'll find it if you type in Marilyn. But I watched that quite a few years ago. But yeah, it was Marilyn York. It was around 3 years ago on the TED Talks YouTube page. We also said we're going to talk about how women expressing what they will and what stand for is perceived versus so that's that. Talking about what they will and what stand for. About how women expressing what they will and what stand for. When a woman is really strong, direct, talking about what they will and what stand for.
she's seen as I found this interesting because I feel like when a woman is really strong, direct, difficult, whereas when men do that, she's seen as just men, leadership, and she's seen as a bit, difficult. I think in relationships, it's actually the opposite. Men do that. I think they're seen as just men in like a relationship and all of that, has high standards, and she's very direct about what she wants. I don't want a man who's like this. I don't want a man who's like that. There's obviously going to be some men that are like, oh, she's masculine or whatever, but and she's very direct about what she won't take. I don't want a man who's like this. I don't want a man who's like that. Applauded. There's obviously going to be some men that are like, oh, she's masculine or whatever. But in the long run, when it comes to men, in the grand scheme of things, that's the kind of woman he was. Even we encourage women to be like that, and it's seen as being misogynistic. When it comes to men having standards about the kind of woman he was, I think that's being controlling. I don't think it is, but I'm saying I feel misogynistic. Men, when they say, sometimes when men say, I want a woman who's like this, I want a woman who's like that, I want my woman to carry herself like this. Men, when they say, sometimes when men say, controlling, I want a woman who's like this, like he shouldn't like that, I want my woman to carry herself like this. It's seen as misogynistic. It's seen as controlling, narcissistic, almost like he shouldn't have. I feel like society doesn't encourage men to have standards about their partner the way maybe I've got the wrong end of the stick.
I don't see that at all.
I feel like society doesn't encourage men to have standards about their partner the way they would encourage women.
From the environment that
even though women don't.
It's never talked about men having standards about women. She's got to be from the environment that I've grown up in. We just know it's never talked about. When I speak to other men, you just always a case of like things. She's got to know that. If someone said that, this is my way, like this is my wife. Just know, like when I speak to other men, you just certain things. Not be married to her. If someone said, this is my girlfriend, or this is my wife.
It's one of those unspoken.
Well, maybe I'm talking about it in terms of the way society is now. Maybe we're talking about two different things because you're right. Well, maybe I'm talking about it in terms of the way society men are very much allowed to have standards. Maybe we're talking about two different things because you're right. Women have to almost accept any type of man. Me growing up, so I definitely men are very much allowed to have standards. I feel like in today's society, but women trying to encourage women to have a bit more standards. So I definitely agree with that. For some reason, what I'm saying we're trying to feel like in today's society, discourage men. We're trying to encourage women to have a bit more standards. Men can have the standards they want. We're trying to. Women don't seem to have standards. Men traditionally having standards. Do you get what I'm saying? Whereas I'm like, so let's encourage women to have higher standards they want, set out their expectations. But why do we now need to discourage men like from having standards? Because I don't think there's anything wrong with to have a man having a standard out their expectation. But why do we now need to discourage men the same way from having standards? Because I don't think there's anything wrong with a man having a standard of a woman that he wants or what he wants from a woman. The same way a woman should be able to do that.
But this goes back to what I said. Drop the man.
If the man was already up there, why are we not bringing the women up there? Like, no, women should have women should have standards too. Women should be allowed to have standards too. And just if the man was already up there, why are we not bringing the women up there? Like, no, women should have more.
I think it's to do with misogyny. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's seen as being controlling, narcissistic, and misogynistic because of the history. Yeah, I think it's to do with misogyny. That's what I'm saying. It's like imposing those standards, being controlling, narcissistic, and misogynistic because of the history of men having standards.
To lessen it,
imposing those standards on women. I think because of that, they're trying to lessen. They're not thinking it through.
They're not thinking it through. People that are trying to lessen it have. I don't think they're the right people that want.
They're not thinking, and this is why I wanted to think about it.
They're not thinking it through. Because I think everyone should have. How are you going to encourage one sex to have high standards?
And this is why I wanted to tell the other one
that no, they shouldn't have high standards. How are you going to encourage one sex to have high standards and big imbalance?
Tell the other one. And I think that's the problem. It's like we need to try and match the man and the woman so that they can actually be compatible for each other.
Big imbalance.
And if it's the case of problem, it's like you want the woman to be like this, but you want the men to be less like this. Actually be compatible for each other. Is that going to work? Maybe I don't know. Maybe we're you want the woman to be like this, but you want the men to be less like this. Bringing the man down a level is that going to work? Maybe, I don't know, maybe we're looking too deep into it. Maybe that's what it's about, I don't know. And also bringing the man down a level so he can meet the woman a bit halfway. Maybe that's what it's about, I don't know.
But in doing that,
that's what you need to do. There are some men that are in support of that.
Destroy the man. I don't think you need to bring anyone down.
And there should be. All of them should be in support of that.
That's what you need to do.
That's an interesting point that I wanted to make, because it's true, you're right. Men are encouraged to have standards. Men always have standards about women. That's an interesting point that I wanted to make, because it's true, you're right. Men are encouraged to have society's going now, have standards about women. Are encouraged to have standards, rightfully so. On the other hand, I'm talking about the way society's going now, viewing it women like, men are being encouraged to have standards, rightfully so. And is it being done in the right way, basically? But men seem to, I'm now viewing it like, men are being discouraged from having standards, and is it being done in the right way, basically?
But guess what's going to happen? Being uplifted so high, and then while the man is being dropped so women, they're not compatible. They will no longer match the women's standards. Back at that imbalance, women are being uplifted so high. You need to step up your game. While the man is being dropped,
but there's nothing wrong with the man stepping up his game. Back at that imbalance,
but he was already there. That's what I'm saying to you. So he was already there doing his thing.
But there's nothing wrong with the man stepping up his game. Okay,
if he's not saying he was already there. That's what I'm saying to you. So he was already there doing his thing.
It's like the self-esteem of the man.
So he drops his expectation. He becomes a bit like maybe I've been a bit too
the self-esteem of the man.
So he drops his expectation there. He becomes a bit like misogynistic, whatever. Then he drops all of that. Then the woman has been lifted. Then he's no longer where he should be. Then the way misogynistic, whatever. Then he drops all of that. Then the woman has been lifted. Then he's no longer where he should be. Then the way he's never be a bad. Trust me.
I guess it depends on how we are approaching it. Although approaching it from a level, and we spoke about this before, where it's like, I guess it depends on how we are ways of thinking is misogynistic. Approaching it from a level and lower themselves to women, where it's like all men are misogynistic. When you then all men in women ways of thinking is misogynistic, men need to lower themselves to women, and self-esteem is diminishing. Then when you then be an imbalance, and we're not talking about one person and one person, we're talking about society, but the man's self-esteem is diminishing. The opposite be an imbalance, and we're not talking about one person, the woman has low self-esteem, society, and now the man has low self-esteem, and it's an issue, and it's funny. The opposite. And because I say that to say, before the woman had low self-esteem, when I watched Barbie, and now the man has the Barbie movie that recently came out, and I really liked the movie. Because I say that to say, I absolutely liked. To you about this when I watched Barbie. Remember the Barbie movie that recently came out, and I really liked what exactly happened. There was parts of it that I absolutely liked, but I was so uplifting of the women, which is fantastic. But then there was almost like a dismissing of the man, and I'm like, this is the problem. We can't do uplifting of the women, which is fantastic. The woman, but then there was almost like a dismissing of the man. Try and get the man. This is the problem. We can't do. So yeah, we do want to get rid of the man. When we uplift the woman, we have to uplift the man, uplift the woman, try and get the man controlling behavior, more reasonable. So yeah, we do want to get rid of misogyny. We do want to get rid of. But we don't want the man to thinking, controlling, less than controlling behavior, just make sure that we don't. All of that kind of stuff. We want to get rid of that. And that we don't want the man to feel Barbie Land was basically the opposite of. We need to just make sure that we don't. Which is the opposite, misogynistic. Yeah. And that movie was interesting because Barbie Land was basically the opposite of
the real world.
The real world, which matriarchal, is quite misogynistic. I was surprised by how the movie did not. Our world is patriarchal. Zone in on the fact that actually what Barbie Land was matriarchal, and so it was almost like surprised by how the matriarchal was better than the patriarchal.
So kind of zone in on the fact that actually what we want is equality.
It was almost like just the matriarchal is better than the patriarchal.
This is cool, but that is not what we want. That's not what society needs.
Just the opposite. And I was like, I guess that's what I'm saying now. It's like, and that's what you're saying. That is not what we want. That's not to uplift women. You don't have to put someone down to lift yourself up. That's what I'm saying now. It's like, and that's what you're saying. Someone where they are. You don't need to diminish men to uplift women. You don't have to put someone down to lift yourself up. You can do both. Like you can keep someone where they are without having to kind of diminish the whole sex. Things that they do. But anyway, change society-wise, that like misogyny and the rest of it, without having there's a double standard there, I think, in terms of the way we are going today. And if you watch the Barbie movie, you'll get what I mean. But it's going off on a tangent down a direction where it's all great for a woman the way we are going strong today. And if you watch the Barbie movie, you'll get what she doesn't expect. That I encourage. I think we're going down a direction where men are being kind of chastised for the same thing. And I'm always stand up for herself, say what she expects, and your standards are your standards. I encourage that. If you want a certain type of woman, a certain type of way, for the same thing, as long as you're not hurting people, I always feel like, listen, your standards are your standards. If you want a certain type of woman, a certain type of way, why you have to change, as long as you're not hurting people, I feel like disrespectful. As long as they're honest with who they are and they respect the people they're with, you have to lower your standards. Why you have to change? I think there's nothing wrong with you wanting to, as long as they're honest with who they are and they respect the people they're with, wrong with a woman and they respect other women.
Not at all.
I think there's nothing wrong with you wanting to a certain type of woman. The same way I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman wanting a certain type of man.
Not for anybody, not for society. In previous podcast, you have your standard up there, keep it up there.
He's back at it. You have a standard down there.
Not for anybody, not for society.
Okay, and we're not going to touch on the desire for traditional women without being traditional men. Down there, that double standard. I mean, just to summarize, to me, okay, and we're not going to touch on the desire for traditional women without being traditional men. That's a whole episode. I feel like summarize to that episode because I feel like there's so much to talk about.
Traditional men and traditional women.
That's a whole episode. I feel like maybe we need to do that on the list because I feel like there's so much to talk about.
We'll touch on it. Traditional men and traditional women on that day.
I think we even have it on the list to do.
I don't think we do, but we'll touch on it. Yeah.
I think we've got it on the list to talk about traditional men versus traditional women. I think there's like a whole discussion about that these days. Yeah, I think we've got it on the list to talk about traditional men versus traditional women. Yeah, traditional. I think there's like a whole discussion about that these days. We do need to touch on it versus women. Oh my gosh, I feel like that can be touched on when we talk about traditional women and traditional men.
So financial expectation.
Maybe we should just do that in the next episode. Versus women. Oh my gosh, I feel like that can be touched on when we talk about traditional women and traditional men. Maybe we should just do that in the next episode.
We can wrap that up in one.
Yeah, because I feel like we were going to talk about it today, but we've already kind of gone on a long time. And we touch on financial, about what we think about the different things. Yeah, because I feel like we're going to talk about it today, but we've already kind of dynamics with the relationship, right? So about what we think about the different things. What do you think? And we want to move on to how double standards can affect the dynamics with the relationship, right?
Power imbalance.
What do you think is the impact that they can have? If one person is being held to a different standard than the other, then most of the time one person is going to be more privileged than the other, whether they have more. If one time whether they're held to a different decision maker, and then most of the time one person is going to be more privileged than the other, whether they have more free time, whether they're more the decision maker, and diminish power for the person who feels without they're really being like clear disadvantage. It can lead to a sense of inequality. Sometimes these things fester in the marriage. Diminish power for the person who feels double standard that you're kind of like stumbled into in your marriage, or that you're kind of supporting in your marriage. You think it's just a normal part of the marriage. This double standard that you've kind of stumbled into in your marriage, or that you're kind of supporting in your marriage, you think it's just a normal part of the marriage, and the person in that relationship is not.
Then someone looking at it from the outside
fulfilled.
Probably point it out to you.
So this is not right. Imbalance of power, and the person in that relationship, communication, it can break down in relationships in terms of communication. So this if one partner is allowed to express their opinions, for example, more freely, like we spoke, it can break down the relationship. One of the things we have touched on in the past is emotional expectation. If one partner is allowed to express their opinions, for example, more freely, like we spoke, we didn't touch on, but one of the things we have touched on in the past is more emotional expectation and double standard. Less expressive, men and that men seem to be, that's just nonsense, because a relationship is somewhere where you can be yourself, you should be able to get the support and the love that you need from your partner, whether you're a man or woman. Because a relationship is somewhere where you can be yourself. You should be able to get the support and the love that you need from your partner, whether you're a man or a woman.
Sometimes I do. The man is not actually being himself. He loves the woman.
out there. He wants the relationship,
but he's never expressed himself because he feels like he has to carry himself a certain way.
He loves the woman, play a certain role. He wants the relationship, but he's never playing a specific role
because he feels like he has to carry himself a certain way.
And that's what constitutes being a man. We become actors, can't be too expressive. You start becoming expressive, then it's like, you have to be brave, you have to be into you. And that's what constitutes being a man. You can't be too expressive. You start becoming expressive, then it's like,
and I think that could definitely lead to you feeling unheard, invalidated, which could lead to frustration.
That's a big problem.
And I think that could definitely lead to you feeling unheard, invalidated. Some of these, which could lead to frustration. We rattled off all these double standards and stuff, but sometimes, if without even realizing it, they could be playing a different role in your relationship. We rattled off all these double standards and stuff, but sometimes you're not even realizing it. The whole notion of different role in your relationship. For example, the woman being expected to be more in your relationship where you're not even realizing it, but you not necessarily wanting to do that, but playing that role. For example, the woman being expected to be more a stay-at-home mum versus resentment, frustration, and things like that. You're not necessarily wanting to do that, but playing that role because of that double standard.
You just kind of just fell into that.
Frustration, things like that. So and I guess that's what this episode is about. How the double standards in society can affect your relationship in that. And I guess that's what negative way, and how to kind of avoid how the double standards. Social media plays a big part in it because a lot of the time they perpetuate stereotypes in a negative way, and how to kind of avoid things in a way that social media plays a big part in it because without actually a lot of the time they perpetuate stereotypes and
programming
represent things in the way that we're all used to seeing
that way
without actually challenging
the man is the hero.
Societal norms.
Programming the man comes to save the woman. Society to think that way, which is the man is the hero. You watch him should look after our women. The man comes to save the woman. It's a case of the man. So you don't see
the other side.
You should look after our women. You don't see the
other side of the man. Like
it's a case of
if he's always having to be the hero.
You don't see
when does he actually take the time to express? You don't see the other side of the man. I think it's more about balance. If he's always having to be the hero, because there's nothing wrong with men being the way they are, but the time to express needs to be balance. I think it's more about balance. So what are some of the strategies that we would recommend couples use to tackle double standards in their relationship? So we listed. So what are some of the strategies that we would recommend couples use to tackle double standards in their relationship? So we listed
there's 7 or 7 in here. You take from number 1 would be open communication.
We always talk about communication.
Right. We say communication every single episode, like communication. You take from our podcast, constantly communicate with your partner.
Right.
We say if things are good, communicate. If things are bad, communication. Open communication.
Because that's the only way you can make sure you're staying on the same page.
If things are good,
the second one we had was identify the double standards, and you can only really do that because that's the only way you can make sure you're staying on the same page. So overarching. The second one we had was identify the double standards, and you can only really do that. Okay. What double standards do we have in our relationship? Is so overarching because how do we feel about that? If you communicate with each other, you can actually talk about what double standards do we have in our relationship? And so we're just giving advice.
But I don't think there's any. Analyze what double standards we have in our relationship. There will be. I don't think I've thought about that.
And I don't think there's any.
So we're just giving advice. What double standards do you think we have then?
This is the thing. This is why if there was, there will be any already gaps.
And I don't think there's any balance anyway.
Just what double standards do you think we have?
That's why I said we need to evaluate. I'm a traditional guy. See where there are already gaps.
You stay at home.
Just
so I'm that kind of. I guess that is that. I'm a traditional guy. I would rather you stay at home.
No, I don't think that's the double standards. I think that's just a desire that you have.
Is that double standards?
It depends on why you want one rule for you, one rule for me. No, I don't think that's a double standards. I think that's just a desire that you have.
You're the one
more
likely
to. It depends on why you want me to stay at home, do something.
I feel like you're the creative one. So I feel like you're the family. So I feel like you should have that space.
So that's because you know me. It's not because you want a wife that stays at home. It's because you're like, actually, my wife will be better in this environment where she's able to kind of fulfill. It's not because you want a wife that stays at home. It's because that you're like, actually, my wife will be better in this environment where she's able to kind of fulfill like actual dreams in that space.
Because obviously the way I see it, you're not proving yourself anyway.
Frank keeps losing his voice. I've been losing his voice for the last 2 days.
You can work this old age.
No, it's not. Stop it. You're not old, Frank keeps losing his voice. He's been losing his voice for the last 2 days.
If you see me like this, you will know it's old age.
No, it's not. Stop it. You're not old. I'm gonna leave.
We are. Come on, man. If you see me like this, you will know.
Anyways, I don't think there's.
You're a traditional guy, and I think because you know me and the type of woman I am,
because I know you can work. I know you're not lazy, so it's not a case of
I don't think there's.
You're a traditional guy, and I think because you know me and the type of woman I am,
because I know you can work. I know you're not lazy, so it's not a case of.
Which there's nothing wrong with either, because if the man can work, let him work.
I believe that. That's very true.
They want to work kind of thing.
Which there's nothing wrong with either, because if the man can work, let him work. Anyway, number 3, set mutual expectations. Once you've identified what the double standards are, if they are. We've been talking about it. Number 3, set mutual expectations. Once you've identified what the double standards in other episodes, but they're so important. We've been talking about sure that if you are a company, set out your expectations. If you are a couple, maybe we've spoken about this in other episodes, but who's all about communication, make sure that equality. If you are a company supporting each other, then make sure that your expectations are based on communication and each other's needs and desires. But if you are supporting each other, then make sure that your traditional expectations are based on equality and respect for each other's some examples of how that could play out in a way that works for your relationship. More traditional, but tackle them head on. Look at some examples of how that could play out in a way that works for your relationship. We encourage collaborative decision making. Tackle them head on, even though, like we do say in our household, because it works for us. And the fourth one, we encourage collaborative decision making. Frank's final say, even though, like what I say in our household, because it works for us.
So it goes Frank round. It's like a 360 decision.
But Frank's final say very much depends on what I think. I have the final say, but what does she want?
It goes round.
What did I think about what she wants?
360 feedback.
Every single decision that
I have to make, I have to consider what does she want?
How would this make me
What did I think about what she wants?
What impact does this have on
every single decision that I have to make, come round again to like, how would this make Nuria feel?
But sometimes you don't.
Would this have on Nuria?
Sometimes, regardless of my view,
so I always come round again to like, this is when I take that decision, then there's normally a reason behind that. Because you're being unreasonable. And I think not take that decision, then there's normally a reason behind that. Because you're being unreasonable. And I deem you not fit.
I don't mind being ruled out in those situations because I know that I'm not equipped for that decision. I know that I'm not making the right. I'm not thinking. I don't mind being ruled out in those situations. I don't want to sound like I know that I'm being like overrun in this relationship because I'm not. Decision. I know that I'm not making the right. Frank was not. I'm not thinking about it consideration. Something really important. I don't want to sound like push back. But most of the time, overrun in this relationship because I'm not. If I felt like Frank was not taking into consideration something really important, one partner push back. But most of the time, try and be a bit more fair and balanced. If you want to make sure that you're tackling double standards and disproportionately favor one partner over the other. Try and be a bit more fair and balanced. Celebrate individuality. You want to make sure that you're tackling double standards and like
support and celebrate individuality.
Number 5, celebrate individuality.
It's bad enough that we in a relationship support and celebrate individuality because we get to know each other. We're all different. And then when you throw in that double standard, we're in a relationship already pushing out there. You have to kind of like, then you need to be there for one another. And
you need to, and you need to be there for one another as
out there.
That person is. You got to take your partner as there is, not trying to make them into someone else. And you need to be there for one another. Using the double standards to almost person is. You got to take your partner as they should be, not trying to find how you someone else and then be taking them as the double standards. If your partner's a bit more emotional of who they should be, to define how you encourage that anyway. Because we always talk about taking them as an individual. That's really, really important. If your partner's a bit more emotional, all of these points we've actually, before we do our episodes anyway, because we always talk about vulnerability, but what we actually think and talk about it. I mean, so all of these points we actually, before we do our episodes, we script it in the sense that we go through like double standards think and in the outside world, and not let it impact feel like these are like in your relationship steps that you can take. The sixth one we thought like double standards aware in the outside of what's going on, let it impact you. Don't ignore it. Don't just be in a bubble in your relationship. So the sixth one we thought was aware of what's going on on in the outside world of what's going on. Like we said before, identify and openly discuss them. Don't just be in a bubble in your relationship. Double standards, be aware of what's going on in the outside world. And like we said before, identify and openly how you feel about certain things, because the double standards, the awareness issues going to allow you to tackle around the world. And the last one, checking in on each other and how you feel about certain things, because that's the awareness is what's going to allow you to tackle things properly. And the last one, we felt let your partner grow as a human being. Support, be there for them in terms of what they aspire to do and what they want to achieve, and let your partner grow as a human being. Partner, be there for them in terms of what they aspire to do and what they want to achieve.
Be themselves.
Just be. But you can let someone be themselves without necessarily supporting them.
True.
I think that's why we put that there, because it's like celebrate someone's individuality, let someone be themselves without necessarily supporting them. Give them the support they need to be the best. I think that's why we put that there, because it's like celebrate someone's individuality, but at the same time, give them the support they need to be the best version of an ongoing process. Like we said, you've got to keep. That's what we think about how to tackle it. You're patient with your partner. Tackling double standards is an ongoing process. Like we said, you've got to keep building that relationship with mutual respect and equality. You're patient with your partner. That's really understanding. So the main things that we spoke about that relationship with mutual respect and equality are the double standards. So we spoke about sexual partners. So the main things that we spoke about, several men or several women, the things that we think are the double standards. How we perceive so we spoke about children, sexual partners, mothers, we spoke about fathers, babies, whether or not that's men or several women. We talked about how we perceive how society is now encouraging women to express that, and fathers discouraging whether or not that's actually accurate. We spoke about that as well. Have a certain standard about how society is now encouraging women to express that, and maybe discouraging men from having standards. We spoke about that as well. Traditional, we've spoken a bit about emotional expectations, and we're going to touch on probably next week episode on, but just to recap, the things that you should be doing in relationships to make sure that you're not impacted by double standards is communicating. But just to recap, making sure you're identifying what they're doing in relationships to make sure that you're not impacted by double standards, about what you expect from each other, making sure you're identifying what they are, decision making, engage with each other in that way, celebrate each other about what you expect from each other, be aware of what's going on in the outside world, and decision making, engage with each other in that way. This episode, celebrate each other's differences, be aware of what's going on in the outside world, and support each other. But I feel like this episode, coming back, we do. Coming back, and I'm actually looking forward to talking about traditional men versus traditional. But I feel like, and I feel like it seems like a different take on is submission really necessary. And I'm actually looking forward to talking about traditional men versus it's not that. It is what's going on right now. It seems like a different take on is submission really necessary, or should it be like traditional men versus modern women? It is what's going on right now, because that's traditional, quote unquote.
It could be.
Or should it be like traditional men versus modern women? That's it for this episode.
That's it, guys. It could be.
Traditional, quote unquote.
It could be.
So thanks for tuning in, guys. That's it for this episode.
That's it, guys.
So that's it, guys. You've heard our views on double standards between men and women. We've explored some of the double standards that we think have the greatest impact on relationships. So that's it, guys. And you've heard our views on double standards between men and women. We've explored some of the double standards that we think have the greatest impact on relationships and what we think you need to bear in mind. We've spoken about ways to navigate these impacts, and we've given all the shackles of double standards themselves. So hopefully you enjoyed that. What we think you need to bear in mind. We really hope you tune into the next episode where we'll be discussing, like we said, traditional men and traditional women versus modern men and modern women. We really hope you tune into the next episode where we'll be discussing, like we said,
don't forget to email us any of your questions,
women,
comments, or dilemmas at ITT.thepodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to email us or send us a DM on Instagram or dilemmas at ITT.thepodcast@gmail.com. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll send us a DM on Instagram at ITT Podcast, all one word. Thank you for hanging out with us, and we'll speak to you on the next one.
Bye.